The Democrats' bald little butterball, James Carville, says Kamala has no chance in 2028. Instead, he's putting all his chips, the remaining chips, I suppose, on this high-rolling heavyweight. Watch.
If I were like betting the Kentucky Derby and I saw this 12-to-1 horse and I said, yeah, I want to get a price, I'd take JB Pritzker.
Really? Why?
Well,
not Kamala Harris? She's black.
She has no chance.
Why not?
Because no Democrat wants anything to do with anybody that had anything to do with 2024. Just win. They don't. If we nominate two white males, no one's going to give a
Sounds like Adrian. Win. Win. Harold, is James Carville right? Is Kamala Harris toast? And is JB Pritzker the future of your party?
I don't know. I respect and like James a lot. He got me.
Oh, pick a side, Harold.
So excited about it when he
I can see both sides of JB Pritzker.
No, when he managed the campaign. But here's what I think. I think primaries will play themselves out. 2013, I've said this around the table, when Barack Obama was in his second term, President Trump's in his second term, 2013, when after he got elected, we're now 2014 because we're 2026. The front runner for the Republicans was Jeb Bush. In 2021, the front runner in Joe Biden's first term on the Republican side was another Florida governor named Ron DeSantis. So as we sit here today, JB Pritzker, all of them, who knows? What I do know is the frame has to be about not impeaching Trump, fighting Trump, but finding ways to fight for answers and to build coalitions to provide answers for whether it's immigration, whether it's crime, whether it's education, whether it's health care, whether it's tax reform. I'd be out saying we want to fully fund the baby accounts. I call them baby accounts. He calls them Trump accounts. We introduced them years ago in Congress. Congratulations. They got it done, Mr. President. If I were Democrats, I said, how can we get more of this for kids who go to school, who don't commit crimes, who live in, who do things over the summer, who are contributing to their communities? A lot of libertarian ideas, you don't like this one, but we give more money to their accounts to ensure that they're a part of the country. That ought to be the frame. If JB Pritzker can get that frame right, perhaps he has a chance. But in 13 and 21, Bush, who I like, DeSantis, whom I don't know, they were not the nominees.
The only number that's higher than his BMI, Jesse, is his taxation wish list. This is a guy who's going to tax the middle class out of existence. There are other Democrats, moderates like Josh Shapiro and Andy Beshear, who are a lot more attractive to fickle independents. Your thoughts?
Can I just be brutally honest?
Uh-oh, no.
Yes, do it. Jump off the cliff, Jesse.
No. It's Friday.
More money for me.
More money.
He's just too big.
You want to say fat.
Be the nominee.
You want to say fat. You said big.
Full of life.
You can't. It's just the age of television. We haven't had a nominee that looked like this since
Chester A. Arthur.
Garfield, Taft.
The cat?
This guy could have the greatest policies.
And he doesn't, but...
But he could have better policies, and he still wouldn't get the nomination because we are a shallow country, and looks do matter. And that's why...
You're successful.
I mean, I don't even need to carry on.
that wasn't an indictment of the American electorate.
I take that as a compliment. He called me successful.
Emily.
Hello. Hi. What I think becomes and feels a little smarmy to people like us who like to read about these things and see it is that I think he's billing himself out as a centrist, a moderate, one that will play well in donor circles and his executive experience, a technocrat. But the reality is we see him with total TDS. And yes, he's sort of, it's not easy on the eyes. Did I say that right?
One way to say it.
And in this climate where we are making a complete sort of, I think, full circle or rotation as a government in terms of personal health and health control and all of these things, I'm not quite sure why the antidote on the left would be like, yes, and let's deposit a 500 BMI individual that traffics in corruption and enjoys large taxes. I also think that he's sort of typical to your point about the contender, that he'll be in there. He'll be the reasonable one. He'll give good answers. But at the end of the day, he doesn't have the paid ads for free that Newsom and the other loud squawking one does. And he doesn't have the likability or the experience that will really get him across the finish line. I think he just tastes better out of the gate than a lot that leave bad taste in our mouths on the extreme left, those liberal, woke, virtue signaling ones. But there's no way he will ever make it into the Oval Office.
What's more
let
important
alone
right
through the door.
now? Listing the people who might be potential nominees for 2028, or making sure there's a list of people who will not run in 2 years?
Well, I just want to write the headline for the clip blogs and websites. Fox show fat shames governor. I got it there for you, okay? Do you get the impression that Carville just says stuff for the hell of it? Like, hey, you know what, Pritzker, there's a big guy. Pritzker's the guy. I wish they got rid of condoms. Remember when you used to have sex without condoms? Yeah, trans kids smell like zebra gum. You know, but he's good for a segment, and then you can reuse the segment over and over again. He's like a sandwich bag that your mom used to use. We still got one of those. But you know what? I think my idea, I call it the campaign slogan would be a perfect 10. And you have skinny Carville, and you have fat. You have fat Pritzker, and it's like a 10. They're shaped like a 10. So it'd be skinny Carville, fat Pritzker, and it'd look just like a 10. Problem with Pritzker is he's the worst person on trans. This guy went all in on men gaming the system of compassion because he's got a relative. I think he's got a brother who's now his sister, or a sister who's now his brother. I think it's brother who's his sister. Could be an uncle who's an aunt. Could be a niece who's a nephew. Something that, either way, it's clouded his vision.
If he transitions, he'll be our first female president.
Wow. That's amazing. Madam Secretary.
Yeah.
Mark that.
Jessica Barbara Pritzker. Ow! The fastest is up next.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.